So tablet apps. These are my favourite ones. Now, I'm not sure how, obviously what every school is, but devices, is it an iPad environment? Is it a laptop, MacBook? Is it a Microsoft environment? How does it work in different schools around? Laptops? Both laptops and iPads? Is that for certain years or for, okay. Alright, so a lot of these tablet apps, in the way my school works as well is we have some students with iPads, generally it's laptops, but with that in mind, what I've done is I actually put all the apps on my own personal work iPad, and then any activities we do, they're either beamed up on the screen, the students share the iPad, just because it's, obviously they can use their own phone as well, so these tablet apps, a lot of them work on mobile phones as well. So they don't necessarily need an iPad, however it depends on how comfortable you are letting students have a phone out during an activity if you're not sure what they're going to be getting up to. So I think it leads to a large amount of trust as well on both sides of they're not going to do anything unnecessary on their phone when they're doing it. So a lot of these will work on both sets, or the way around it is to have a personal iPad where you can then offer them the apps that way. This is one of my favourite ones. Games. I do love using games in the classroom as long as they're worthwhile. Has anyone heard of Run That Town before? Yeah? So, free game run by the Australian Bureau of Statistics and it uses Australian census data. The students put themselves in the shoes of the mayor of any suburb around Australia they want. They can do the suburb they're currently living in, they go to school in, anywhere around. You can allocate different suburbs, some with high SES, some with low, some with different multicultural levels. It's up to you. And they're going to be faced with different scenarios based on community needs. So you might say, the people want this proposal to build a pub has come up. And you'll actually get information that says, but 30% of people that live in your suburb are over the age of 65, for example, and they'll say, we don't want a pub because we don't want hooligans running around getting drunk and doing stupid things. They might say, but X amount of people are young, they want a pub because they want to be social. Now, depending on what you choose, it's then going to lead to your popularity either going up or down. You can't please everyone. So it really gets the students to think, well, hang on, the world doesn't work exactly like I think it does. There are negatives to some of these outcomes as well. And it's a great game. You can work for it for 9 years, so that's better. But I like to make it a competition in class in terms of who can last the longest without getting impeached out of office first. You do get students, and even I've been booted out after 1 month, where my popularity just plummets because I made a really bad decision. Okay, so that's a really great activity. Again, it is only actually meant for an iPhone. So if you don't have an iPad, you can use it on an iPad, but it'll be an iPhone-sized screen on your iPad, so it might be easier to do it on the phone. And it is free. You can't use it on a desktop at all. It's only iPhone, Android phone, or iPad or Android tablet. Yeah. These links for all these apps take you to the iTunes store just because I natively use Apple, but you can find these for Android as well, so Samsung's. This is one of my favourites, Earth Primer. Has anyone come across this one before? This one's only relatively new. Now, it's actually an app, but it's actually a book. So, now this is paid, about 15 bucks. Now, I've got it loaded on my iPad, so you can, when we've got time, you feel free to actually have a play around with it. This is interactive. It takes you through every chapter of the book, goes through a different element of the world. The lithosphere, it goes through the atmosphere, goes through the oceans, goes through mountains, goes through how things are actually, or how things operate around the world, okay? Then at the end, once you actually unlock all the books, so you read through everything, you play around with it, it opens up a sandbox mode, which is what this is, and I've sped it up. You can then do anything you want to the Earth. You can increase the amount of terrain there is. So I've created mountains, and then what I did was I dropped the temperature. And all of a sudden it shows me that in that area, you're gonna have a whole bunch of snowfall down there, you're not gonna have anything. I made it rain, and it started shaping the mountains for me. So it really allows students to actually work out, well, if the sea level rises, even just slightly, and it gets a bit hotter in the atmosphere, just like they're predicting in the next 50, 100, 150 years, what effect is that going to have on the terrain? What sort of vegetation will be growing as well? Now, I said that's about 15, 16 bucks. But I'm happy if you have a play around with it. I've unlocked the whole book so you can go straight to sandbox mode and play around with the whole thing. Okay? Now, very similar to Null School. Null Schools are very, very popular. There is an iPad app that goes along with it, not by Null School. It is paid. It does very similar work. You can overlay. It's live, real-time data of weather patterns around the world. Okay, as close to live and accurate as they can get. And you can overlay things like the air temperature, humidity. So Null School works on a web browser, but if web browsers aren't available, okay, the app will step in again at about $2.99, I believe it is. But you can put in different things of temperature, humidity. It will have the latest cyclones and hurricanes that are around as well, so the kids can actually pick it out. They can click on one of the wind patterns, and they can actually see that it's about 300 kilometers an hour. They can see the eye of the storm that's actually spinning around as well. So it makes it a lot more interactive. Geological timescale. This is a free app from Geoscience Australia. And again, coming from a government department, it is very reliable information. It allows you to travel back in time to about 540 million years ago and see what did the Earth look like. You can actually move the slider across. It shows you how the plates have moved, how the continents have moved as well. And what it does for you is it shows you, well, what's the temperature like? It's getting hotter, it's getting colder, and it focuses on Australia more than anything. So it tells you what minerals would have been found in Australia 500 million years ago, what minerals then started to develop 300 million years ago, what animals did you have? Now, this going a long way in terms of them working out, well, if they found fossils of some animal in this place, how come they've also found it in this place? They're half a world apart. You can then go back and say, well, at about X amount of million years ago, this is what happened. This is what happened to the atmosphere, and this is where they are now. And then you can work out those theories of the plate tectonics and work out, well, how is that actually working? And that's a free app. Again, only for an iPad though. But it tells you what major mineral deposits. You can say, well, Australia's ended up with a whole bunch of uranium at the end. Okay, but we didn't start off with that. We start off with this mineral. Now again, 500 million years ago, it's a bit of an estimate on their behalf as well. Again, it's one thing you need to sort of look at and say, well, okay, the students ask, well, how come you got, there's shells 500 million years ago, but they haven't changed? Well, again, crocodiles, they're still ancestors to dinosaurs. Birds, the kids always think about, well, hang on, how does that work? This is very similar. The best thing about this one here, though, as opposed to the previous one, is you can also overlay and say how much oxygen was actually in the atmosphere at a certain time. Okay, again, scientific guess. How much daylight, or how long was the day? You'll find that about 30 million years ago, the day was only about 22, 21 hours long. Okay, so that allows the kids to then work out, okay, well, what's happened? When the oxygen levels went up and the temperature went down, that's when they realised, hang on, that's when life really started to pick up and flourish. And you can then use that as a starting point to look at, well, how do those biomes actually develop and grow as well? Dynamic place. This is one of my favourite ones for them to play around. Now, I don't have any sound playing, but this will be rumbling, it'll be exploding. It is a paid app, about $2.99. And it's interactive, so the kids actually grab a screen, they manipulate the plates, and they slam them together and it builds a mountain for them. They rip them apart like in that one there. It shows them that rift happening. The ocean floor floods in, shows them how that cooling lava then turns into maybe an island. And there's a quiz at the end as well. So it looks at plate theory. Quiz at the end that says, okay, well, what plate does this, what plate does that as well. Okay, that's only an iPad app, doesn't work on an iPhone, about $2.99. But this one here I found probably the most useful one. There's a lot of Flash animations you can get on the website, but Flash doesn't always work. Okay, a lot of the great websites that I found say use Flash, the kid gets on an iPad, Flash doesn't work on iPads. If they disabled it on their laptop because mum and dad don't want them playing games, won't work on their laptop either. Okay, so this is a way around them actually doing it. So either the kids can buy it themselves, or you can purchase it and then lend out your iPad, which I'm always happy to do for them as well.
And again, is this one
Only an iPad, not a phone, not a phone. iPad and Android, but not a phone size, not a phone size. Because it is quite a large display, so you need to be able to actually.
And
use
not
it.
touchscreen.
It is. It is touchscreen as well, yeah. So they need to have enough working space to be able to use it properly. Pokemon Go, very big. One of my favourite things is
For a very short time.
floodlines. 2011 Brisbane floods.
I know.
2011 Brisbane floods. What I've done is, I've actually printed out a copy of how this works and I've included it into a Drive folder. So when you go into the presentation, click on that, you'll find all these pieces of paper you can print out. Now this is a free app by the State Library of Queensland. Works on a phone, works on an iPad. Basically works on the same principle as Pokemon Go. You've got normal, that's just a desk at work, normal, the normal world going on. And then you hover the camera over one of these and it's basically just a bunch of text. There's 14 of them in there. 14 different locations that were affected by the Brisbane floods in 2011. And what that does is then it opens up on their screen, on their camera, the city. So the city of Cardwell, the city of Toowoomba, the city of Brisbane. And it's got a little time scale down the bottom where they can then shift across and say, well, okay, 11 AM it looked like this. And then you bring it across, that cyclone is hitting, and that's what it looked like after. The flood waters go up, flood waters go down, what was left, what sort of sediment was left behind as well. They're very big on the augmented reality at the moment at my school kids. They love playing Pokemon Go. They love playing a whole bunch of other games that do it as well. So this brings in a whole other element when you're looking at natural hazards and natural disasters. And that's a free app, works on iPad, phone. You can find the markers there. All you've got to do is print them out.